Hello friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Victor Fursov, I'm research entomologist, beekeeper and teacher. Hello friends who are lovers of insects, invertebrates and honeybees. Especially honeybees, because today I will give you just the lecture and the presentations about honeybees and about Beehive of Ukrainian beekeeper Vasyl Priyatelenko. Today actually a very special day because today is 18th day of August and tomorrow will be the day of beekeeper in Ukraine. I want to find correct title. Tomorrow will be, and this presentation is dedicated to the celebration of official professional day, the Day of Ukrainian Beekeepers and Ukrainian beekeeping industry on the 9th day of August, tomorrow. And actually, the short version of this presentation was presented by me at the Scientific Practical Ukrainian Conference at P.I.Prokopovich Beekeeping Institute of National Academy, Agrarian Academy of Sciences in Kyiv, Ukraine, during Zoom conference titled Beekeeping in Ukraine, Challenges of Martial Law Time and International Experience, which was presented on the Zoom conference today morning and daytime. So the larger version of this conference, I am very pleased to present you now, and it will be recorded on my channel with better and slower explanations of some details of a structure of Ukrainian beehive, which was modified by Ukrainian beekeeper Vasyl Priyatelenko. Let's start from the beginning, and I will show you the presentation and PowerPoint photographs and pictures. So the title of this presentation is Positive Effect of Innovative Construction of Three-Story Vasyl Priyatelenko's Beehive on Development, Health and Productivity of Honeybee Colonies. Co-authors Vasyl Priyatelenko, owner of private beekeeping enterprise, which is located near Kyiv, and I'm Victor Fursov, senior research scientist of Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences in Kyiv, Ukraine. Our emails are given here. I should say a few words about Vasyl Priyatelenko, who is just inventor of this beehive, who did different modifications in the construction of beehive. He is enthusiastic and devoted beekeeper, which has created many special details in looks like normal Ukrainian beehive, but this beehive became absolutely very special. Now we say 3 bodies of 3 stories, Vasyl Priyatelenko's beehive. He's very enthusiastic. Unfortunately, he had a very strong, very heavy, difficult experience in March of the last year, 2023, when he spent with his family 3 weeks under the occupation in his village. But fortunately, he and his family survived. Fortunately, his apiary, his beekeeping apiary, survived during this harsh time, and he is still enthusiastic and believe in development of Ukrainian beekeeping industry and development of innovations in beekeeping activities in Ukraine and in other countries. I'm very pleased to present you this presentation in English to draw more attention of an international English-speaking community to the collaboration and to innovations in the field of beekeeping in Ukraine. Let's start about details of presentation. Initially, I would say short summary of presentation. In this presentation, the peculiarities of application, structure and construction of modified three-bodies beehive of Vasyl Priyatelenko will be described in details. The aim of this study is the following. First, to test the efficiency and productivity of innovative construction of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. Second, to test and develop efficient beekeeping technology on the base of application of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. And third, to describe these peculiarities of healthy beehive. What about material and methods? Original and innovative construction of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive has been tested in the private apiary near Kyiv during 11 years, from 2012 up to now 2030 to 2023. From 40 to 50 beehives with 40-50 bee colonies of Ukrainian steppe race have been used for this study. 3 modifications of the hive with original Priyatelenko's comb frames have been designed and elaborated. Original construction of Priyatelenko comb frames with unique N-shaped cross-section metal top bars was described and presented before in several publications and scientific meetings. The beehive of Vasyl Priyatelenko has the Ukrainian patent, and it was registered in 2011. The influence of different details of a hive designed by Vasyl Priyatelenko in frames with a special metal upper bar on various aspects of life of honeybee colony of a hive have been studied. First of all, this is the intensity of development of bee colony. The second, the use of natural supersedure queen replacement in the bee colonies. Third, the reduction of swarming activity and reduction of swarm size. Fourth, the change of ventilation of a beehive and bee colony during the hot period of honey collection and during cold periods of wintering. Fifth, influence on the intensity and method of storage of nectar and honey within. Sixth, on the influence on the volume of honey gathering. Seventh, influence on the intensity of infection with varroamide and methods of treatment. And eighth, influence on wintering conditions and exit from overwintering. What kind of results have been received? 11 years of tests and observations showed us that test model of beehive is very close to the natural construction of the honeybee nest in a tree hollows, and it allows the bee colony to develop in a natural way. We propose and describe here the original algorithms, or so-called formula of natural honeybee nest, which is applied and used in Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. There are several special innovations has been developed in a Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive, and they are described in this presentation. And let's watch the details of presentation. We will be talking about innovative and effective 3-story beehive of Ukrainian beekeeper Vasyl Priyatelenko. Actually, honey gathering is well known for human civilization from ancient time. There are different ways of collection of honey, especially from the ancient time and just in the recent years. For instance, these are very simple logs, traditional skeps, and collection from wild nests. Of course, everything has been changed when different types of beehives were discovered and used. In the book of Pokorsky Zhuravko, published in 1840, many different types of beehives were described from the territory of Ukraine and neighboring countries. And Prokopovich beehive also, which was discovered and described in 1814. In the book of Ukrainian scientists Bodnarchuk and Solomacha, published in 1998, also many different types of Ukrainian beehives and international beehives were described. What is about Ukrainian beehives? In Ukrainian beehives, which use frames, several different Ukrainian standards have been used and they are used now as well. These are frames which are called as Ukrainian frame with size 435 millimeters on 9 on 300 millimeters wide. This is Dadan-blad frame, long-strode root frame, and very short frame with size 145 millimeters on 435 millimeters. These are standards which are using and acceptable for the use with standard Ukrainian foundation. These are different types of beehives from the old time, described originally by Dadant and Langstroth. These old style of Ukrainian beehives which are presented in excellent beekeeping museum of P.I.Prokopovich Beekeeping Institute in Kyiv, Ukraine, which is located in Feofania region of Kyiv. Everyone can visit this museum and enjoy very interesting samples of traditional beekeeping industry in Ukraine. P.I.Prokopovich, this is a heritage of Ukrainian beekeeping, and it's really great. The discovery of beehive by Prokopovich in 1814 gave a great influence on the development of beekeeping industry, rational type of beekeeping industry from old style of beekeeping when all bees have been killed, but this is beekeeping technology which used frames, so multi-framed beehives have been developed and used worldwide, such as Dadant, Langstroth, root beehives, and Ukrainian beekeeper P.I.Prokopovich is accepted as the founder of Ukrainian cultural beekeeping worldwide. What is important in beehive and beekeeping technology? What parts? We can consider that this is first, construction of beehive, second, reasonable price of beehive, third, labor costs or management costs, fourth point, health of honeybee colony, and fifth, this is efficiency, productivity, and profit of beekeeping business. What kind of modifications have been used and done in Ukrainian beehives of Ukrainian beekeeper Vasyl Priyatelenko? First of all, I would say a few words about what is a beehive. A beehive is a structure that houses a full colony of bees, such as workers, drones, and a queen. A man-made framed beehive consists of bottom board, hive bodies with frames for the development of a brood nest, honey supers for gathering honey, the inner cover, and the outer cover, or sometimes migratory cover. Let's talk about structure of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive and his modifications of construction of Ukrainian beehive. Modification number one, this is very special modified frames with N-shaped metal top bars. You can see on this photo N-shaped metal top bars on the top of frames. They have a very special N-shaped metal profile, N-shaped profile with its size 7 millimeters to 7 millimeters quadrate. And they're attached to the wood with very delicate construction, but very strong, and which is provided stability and many advantages for this construction of beehive. This construction of the top bars are very unusual. This is patent of Vasyl Priyatelenko of this beehive, and it was tested during 11 years and showed many advantages for development of a honeybee colony and many advantages in the construction of beehive. Let's talk about it. We can see here on this photo narrow wide frame, so-called Ukrainian style frame with N-shaped metal top bars. On the top, metal top bars, on the down, wooden bottom bars, and on the both sides, wooden end bars. And this is size 265 on 465 millimeter size of this frame. You can see here two types of frames, again with indication of a metal top bars, wooden end bars, and construction which can be either narrow deep or wide or shallow wide. Two types of frames. You can see here on this picture honey super with construction of a modified frames with N-shaped top bar. This is profile. As I said, the size of this metal plate is 7 to 7 to 7 millimeters, and it's covered by bee wax. So wax is attached very carefully, which is used for standard wax foundation in all types of comb frames and foundations, which is used as standard, except only one type of specially designed quadrate frames. All other frames are standard shape and size. Modification of number 2. These are two types of frames should be used in the construction of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. Two types. First of all, this is narrow deep frame or shallow wide frame. Here, Vasyl Priyatelenko in his apiary with these two types of frames, but I indicated three types because they can be used shallow wide frames, either root frames or dadant frames, and narrow tall frame, Ukrainian frame, which is very famous and widely used in log hives in Ukraine and worldwide, but without such a special modification which has been done by Vasyl Priyatelenko. Take care about these details, and I explain it carefully now. You can see here the picture of two Basical types of frames. These are narrow deep frame on the left and quadrate frame on the right. Quadrate frame is specially designed, and this size is originally used by Vasyl Priyatelenko, and it proved very useful size of this construction because of this hive became lighter, not so heavy in comparison with much heavier beehives, for sure with such a big comb frame like on the left side. So this is narrow deep frame and quadrate frame, full of honey. Here again with brood and in the middle part, and then the left side full of honey. Narrow deep frames and quadrate frames with start with a small piece covered with capped honey cells. Modification number 3. These are two types of beehives. Let's see details of the structure of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. You can see here, this is a structure of 3 bodies beehive. This is a special cross positioning on frames. 3 bodies beehive has movable floorboard on the downside, then bottom hive body with 8 frames, then central hive body with 12 frames, and super body, honey super body with 8 frames again. Then there is a special inner cover, which consists of metal plate and plastic sheet. I will show it later. And finally, this is roof or outer cover, which is just normal one as in other beehives. This is a picture of decomposed of the construction of these beehives in details. For sure, firstly, there are 2 types: smaller beehives and larger beehives. And colony starts from the small size. So for colony you can use, for small colony, a small size of beehive with just 1 body beehive, like on the left side of the screen. So for smaller beehive, there are used 3 bodies with 8, 8, and 8 frames. And for larger bodies beehive of construction Vasyl Priyatelenko, it's used frames in 3 bodies, 8 frames, 12 frames, and 8 frames. The use of these different bodies of beehives is dependent from the size of a colony, from the stage of development of colony, and from the period of season, spring, autumn, or winter, when the large 3 bodies beehive should be dismounted up to the 2 bodies, and put in the safe place, or just outside the apiary for overwintering, or just small colony can overwinter in 1 body beehive. Let's look inside the beehive. So you can see here how it looks like, the cross positioning of frames and construction of frames in open beehive, with small frames, which I call quadrate frames with indicated size, and shallow wide frames on the upper side of a picture. Here again we can see the construction of with smaller beehive and larger beehive, with quadrate frames and shallow wide frames of a corresponding size, with 8 frames in the left body and 12 frames in the right body. Here the bigger size beehive includes 8 plus 12 and plus 8 comb frames. And here the smaller size beehive, for comparison, to watch how it looks like in original location and beekeeping place in springtime, quadrate frames and narrow deep frames. So 2 bodies beehive with quadrate frames on the bottom and narrow deep frames the central part of beehive. So you see here frames in 2 bodies beehives. And here Vasyl Priyatelenko near his apiary with fully constructed 3 bodies beehive of a smaller size with quadrate frames, which became the most convenient for the use and for movement and dismounting as well, because this construction is lighter and easier for middle age and even for old age of beekeepers. Look here, you can see how it looks like inside and the positioning of frames inside the two bodies beehive with crosswise positioning on frames, which is indicated on the right photo. 8 frames and 8 frames. Here again, with photo with narrow deep frame on the central part of beehive and quadrate frames on the bottom body of beehive. So these are smaller size beehive with quadrate frames. Modification number 4, this is a crosswise positioning in frames in hive bodies. Let's watch it on the picture. This looks like in artificial positioning outside of a beehive. You see crosswise positioning of frames. All frames, they're interconnected all together without differentiation of the size of frames. And they are connected, which is very surprising, in the 3 bodies beehive without special space between all bodies, between bottom body, between central body, and between honey super. All 3 hive bodies are interconnected. Here I show the picture with different size of beehives, because in beehives can be used either on the right side quadrate frames and narrow tall of Ukrainian frames of indicated size, or can be used shallow white frames, shallow white Dadant frames, which are bigger and full of honey, can be more than 3 kilos, and shallow white root frame, which are smaller with indicated size on this photo. But positioning of all frames inside beehive, this is just like a reconstruction of beehive positions, all crosswise positioning, which gives a lot of advantages for development of honeybee colony and for bee gathering, honeybee work, and for gathering of honey in this type of beehive. Modification number 5, as I told you about it, there is no bee space between hive bodies. Because of no bee space between, all bodies interconnected, but they are not attached strongly between them. Because of construction of metal top bars, construction is strong enough, and only special small points are constructed by honeybees between all 3 hive bodies. And you see here shallow white body on the upper side, which has indicated 12 points of connections on one frame, and together there are 96 points of connection. But all these 2 or 3 body hives, 2 or 3 bodies of a hive can be easily dismounted despite these small interconnections, because of construction of top bars and end bars and bottom bars. But this construction gives the opportunity for honeybees to develop very actively and to use all these 3 bodies of a beehive as a united space for whole construction of united bee nest, which can be compared with the construction of beehive in a hollow tree. Modification number 6. This is construction of an inner cover, which consists of plastic silicone sheet, which is very convenient, and metal plate. So this is a silicone which covering top bars, and all frames are visible through silicone, and they are interconnected together, and silicone is attached just on the top bars without bee space, and it's good enough because it's used on the honey super. And looking on this situation inside the hive allows to give the solution about honey flow, about gathering of honey, and the situation inside beehive without opening. It's good enough to check the situation, just open the roof and look on this picture inside beehive without opening inner cover. So you see here inside 12 narrow tall frames of Ukrainian style, Ukrainian frames. In some cases, you can use also this only metal plate, which can be laying on the top bars of frames. In this case, you can receive special lines of propolis. Little bit more difficult to dismount it from top bars, but still relatively easy, pretty easy. But this propolizing of this metal plate gives a very special situation of very rational use of water inside beehive. Bees are using propolized water, and it is increasing the health conditions inside beehive, increasing their productivity, and we are not spending more time searching for water and not spending more time for special ventilation. And it does not stop ventilation, it's providing cooling, insulation during the hot summer period of honeybee colony development. And modification number 7, this is movable floorboard. Look here on the bottom part of the beehive. This is movable floorboard with opening window, just dismounted. And inside this is a picture of a drone brood, which can be and must be removed in the case of excess of all these comb frames, drone comb frames below the comb frames of a bottom body of a hive. So they can be easily removed and controlled by beekeeper. Modification number 8, this is already modified and sophisticated beekeeping technology of honeybee keeping and honey gathering by honeybees. So you can recognize here that there are 3 constructions of beehives of Vasyl Priyatelenko modifications. This is 1-story beehive, 2-story beehive, and 3-story beehive. And this is positioning as indicated here in the middle part. On the bottom hive, these are 8 frames in a cold way, constructed in the cold way entrance, and central part body with 12 frames with positioning crosswise and in the warm way. And again, on the right side, this is again on the top, this is a honey super, 8 frames represented in a cold way positioning. So let's give a conclusion about modifications of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive. Modifications are the following. First, modified frames with metal top bars with metal profile with size 7 millimeters by 7 millimeters. Second, this is a use of 3 types of frames. First, narrow deep frames. Second, shallow wide frames. And third, quadrant frames. Number 3, 2 basic types of beehives with 3 hive bodies with 8 plus 8 plus 8 frames in bodies, or with 8 plus 12 plus 8 frames. Number 4, this is a modification in crosswise positioning of frames in a hive bodies. Number 5, there is no bee space between hive bodies, which is unusual but gives special advantages in construction and in development of honeybee colony in this type of beehive. And it does not disturb the work of beekeeper, but only improves the work of honeybees and work of beekeeper. Number 6, this is united structure of bee nest in beehive because of absence of bee space between hive bodies. Number 7, this is use of inner cover, which includes plastic sheet and metal plate. Number 8, the use of movable floorboard. Number 9, the use of 1, 2, or 3 bodies of hive. And 10, this is modified, sophisticated, and efficient, tested by time and practical experience beekeeping technology of the use of this type of beehive. Let's talk about advantages of Priyatelenko beehive. In conclusion, we can say that advantages of Priyatelenko beehive are the following. First, this is a reduction of costs for management of each beehive and apiary as a whole. Second, regular reorganizing of comb frames in all beehives are not necessary, and it reduces the time of management and labor costs. Number 3, it significantly decreases the bees' resistance to diseases and pests, this construction of beehive. Number 4, there is a reduction just to only one or complete avoidance of chemical treatments of honeybees inside this type of beehive. Number 5, this is healthy development of honeybee colony because of rational use of propolised water inside beehive by honeybees. Number 6, this is very dynamic development of a honeybee colony. Number 7, this is change of queen through the procedure of queen supersedure. Number 8, this is significant reduction of a swarming activity and presence only small size swarms from half of kilo up to 1 kilo because of reduction of swarming activity. Number 9, you can consider that there is much less time consuming beehive. It can be called as a lazy hives because of low, and it provides low labor costs and lower management costs. What about harvesting? Number 10, there is efficient and productive harvest. It's up to 20, 30, or 50 kilos from one hive stationary apiary without any additional sugar feeding, just based on melliferous resources around beekeeping farm. Number 11, this is successful and healthy overwintering on honeybee colonies. Number 12, simplicity of construction of beehive. Number 13, very reasonable price of beehives. Number 40, this is a high quality of honey. You would say organic honey without any additional content without additional sugar feeding or beehive, which is reducing the quality of beehive and making the quality of honey much lower and not natural. This is natural high quality of honey is produced in this type of beehive. On this picture you can see Vasyl Priyatelenko with his beehive and frames full of honey. The construction of this beehive has been described and explained in several publications, in books, in scientific journals, which published in English and indicated here, for instance, in English Journal of the Beekeepers Quarterly Journal in UK. Construction was patented in Ukraine in 2011. Results have been presented at several scientific conferences, including international conferences, such as International Congress Apimondia in Kyiv in 2013, then International Beekeeping Congress Apislavia in 2014, in Conference Apimondia in South Korea in 2015, and again in International Congress Apimondia 2017 in Istanbul and Turkish Republic. Here, this is a group of Ukrainian and Turkish beekeepers together after presentations and after exposition during exhibition in this famous International Beekeeping Congress and Fair in Istanbul in 2017. Despite all circumstances and martial law time in Ukraine, Vasyl Priyatelenko, a Ukrainian beekeeper, is active. He has his own apiary and own machinery for his construction of beehive manufacturing. So he is producing and he has a special stock of frames, stock of beehives. He's producing honey and he's producing beehives, and he's ready to distribute this type of beehive for colleagues, for friends, for beekeepers in Ukraine and worldwide. So he accepts orders for manufacturing, he accepts orders for collaboration, cooperation. He always very pleased to accept beekeepers from Ukraine and from other countries. Turkish beekeepers, American beekeepers have visited his beekeeping farm near Kyiv and were enjoying his hospitality, his enthusiasm, his devotion in construction of this beehive, and also they were very surprised in very high harvesting activity of honeybees in this construction of beehive. If you are interested in contact with Vasyl Priyatelenko, you are welcome to contact him using this type of a cell phone, or using this email, or his email, or my email. We can provide you some contacts. Maybe you are also welcome to visit his apiary. He expressed great hospitality for new visitors, for new customers. So new visitors and customers are welcomed, because together we spent 11 years of cooperation and development of experience and spreading the knowledge about this construction of this beehive and in popularization of this type of beehive for beekeeping community in Ukraine and worldwide. So you are welcome to join customers of Vasyl Priyatelenko and users of his style beehive, which is very effective, productive, and efficient. Thank you for attention. Thank you for watching. So this is my presentation. about construction of Vasyl Priyatelenko beehive, and also about advantages and structure of this beehive, if it was interesting for you. You are welcome to write your questions under this video. If you are on Gmail, ask your questions. If you are interested to buy some honey or to buy some beehives of construction Vasyl Priyatelenko, you are welcome to ask him about it. He's owner, he can provide you some details about prices, about contacts, and so on. I can help you only in some establishments of some cooperation and contacts. So you are welcome for cooperation and for collaboration between beekeepers in Ukraine and worldwide. So if you are American beekeeper or just amateur beekeeper and you are planning to visit Ukraine, you can contact me or you can contact Vasyl Priyatelenko, and maybe you will have a choice to visit his apiary and to see it, to watch the work of honeybees in his apiary, and to watch on your own eyes this construction of this beehive, to watch on your own eyes the construction of this type of special comb frames full of honey, especially in August. And of course, some of frames are full of honey and will be inside beehives because Vasyl Priyatelenko, he doesn't give any additional sugar feeding. He remains some parts of honey in beehives for successful overwintering of honeybees, for successful overwintering of honeybee colonies in this type of a beehive. Thank you for watching. Thank you for interest. Keep in touch. Visit my Patreon page. Press like and write your comments. And looking forward to see you on my channel, a subscriber, or maybe join my Patreon page or join my patrons on my YouTube channel as well. You can find links in the description of this video. And thank you very much for your attention. And soon I will show you some videos directly from the beekeeping farm of Vasyl Priyatelenko, because I am planning in the nearest days to visit him because it's harvesting time. So to watch what's on news in his apiary, and it will be shown on my channel. The sooner the better. Thank you for your attention. Good luck and see you soon on my channel. Subscribe, press like, and write your comments. Good luck and see you soon on my channel.